Hello, future Cardinals. Welcome to Summer Orientation 2020 virtual style. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Rachel Pridgeon, and I'm the Director of Student Involvement and Transition Programs. We've set up these webinars to give our incoming students and their families the tools they need to be successful as they gear up for the fall semester. These webinars will be held live throughout the summer, and the recordings will be available on the orientation website, which is northcentralcollege.edu/orientation. For today's webinar, Julie Carballo, the Director of First Generation Programs and Coordinator of Military Affiliated Student Services, is here to talk to you more about supporting our first generation college students who are defined as neither parent having completed a college degree. Before I pass it over to Julie, if you have any questions along the way, please put those questions in the question box in the webinar dashboard, and we'll answer those at the end of the presentation. In addition, should you have any tech issues, know that this webinar is recorded and will be shared at a later date. Without further delay, let me pass it over to Julie to begin. Thanks so much for being here, Julie.
Thank you, Rachel, and welcome to our first generation college students and families. We welcome both our first year students and our transfer students. I'm very happy that you're here. There's research and a lot of anecdotal evidence to show how important the support of families are to first gen student success. Just to quickly review a few basics, as Rachel said, the definition of a first generation college student that we use at North Central and that is generally used across the country is neither parent having completed a four-year college degree. We collect that information on the application for admission. So the students fill that out when they apply. At North Central College, since we began collecting information on first gen status, which has been almost 10 years now, we've been consistently about 40% of our students are first generation college students, and currently more than 100 faculty and staff members are also first gen. At North Central College, first gen status is certainly a point of pride on our campus, and you'll hear more about that, and you'll definitely feel that when you get on our campus. The Office of First Generation Programs has 4 staff members on our team. I'm the director, Marissa Geigelis is the assistant director, and we have 2 graduate assistants who are first-gen graduates of North Central College, and they're currently working on earning their master's degrees. So we have Jacqueline Taylor and Devin Allen, and they will both be interacting very frequently with the students. They both were active Cardinal First participants as undergraduate students at North Central. Cardinal First is the name of our program for first generation college students, and it provides a community of first generation peers and first gen faculty and staff. So you can see in the one picture, that's 2 of our professors who identify as first gen. Between them on the door is a sign indicating that they are first gen faculty, and all of the faculty members on campus who identify as first gen have those signs on their door and also have the Cardinal First jackets that you see here. So Cardinal First provides a community of first generation peers and faculty and staff, as well as a connection to the networking, resources, opportunities, and information that help our first gen students thrive during their time at North Central. The ultimate goal, of course, for all of our first generation college students is to earn a college degree. And the Cardinal First program is your guide on the side from your first day at North Central through graduation. These are photos from last year's graduation, since this year's was a virtual graduation. And before you know it, it will be your students' graduation day at North Central. I want to spend a little bit of time for our incoming first year first gen students and their families to just compare a little bit high school to college so that you're fully prepared with what changes you can expect. And I can share with you that I started my career as a high school teacher and now have been at North Central for some time. So it's important that students know what to expect in terms of what professors will expect of their students. So in high school, students see their teachers every day. Teachers offer frequent reminders of due dates and assignments, and they're available to get questions answered before and after every class. In college, the professors will expect the students to be a little more self-directed. And so professors teach in one classroom but have their office in a different area on campus. So if a student needs help, they will need to go to a professor's office hours. All professors have time that they are available in their office to answer student questions, and they like when students come in and get help during this time. Also, professors will pass out a syllabus, which is like a guide to the whole course. We'll talk more about that. But professors expect students to read that syllabus and save it and refer back to it between each class meeting so that students are keeping track of what needs to be done on their own with fewer reminders than they would have received in high school. So on the first day of class or before, your student or students will be given a syllabus for each class that they are enrolled in. And the syllabus will lay out the plan for the entire semester. So that's one of the differences between college and high school as well. In high school, you generally knew what the plan was for a week or two out, but not necessarily for the whole semester. When you begin classes on August 24th, you'll have a syllabus for each class that you're in, and it will contain all of the information for this semester. The syllabus will be available on Blackboard, so it's always available whether you're on campus or off campus. It includes the name of the course and when and where the course meets. It also includes the name of the professor and how to contact them. So their office phone number, their email, however they like to be contacted. It also will include their office location, which may or may not be in the same building as the classroom that you meet in, and the office hours. So these are times that the professor will be in their office available for students. Sometimes I like to call these student hours because they are time that professors have set aside for students to get help if they need help in class, or simply for a student to go in and introduce themselves and learn more about the professor or their field of study. The syllabus will also include any required textbooks. But the information about required textbooks is also available in the college's online bookstore that you'll hear more about from your academic advisor. So you certainly will have the information about what textbooks are required for a class long before you receive the syllabus for the class. Also in the syllabus is the course schedule for the entire semester. So this is a sample page from one last semester. It lists every date that the class meets. It lists what the reading assignment is to be done before the students come to class that day, and any other assignments or tests. So a professor might make a change to this, but they would announce that. But otherwise, the professor will expect that the student is looking at this course schedule to see what is due each day before they come to class. The syllabus will also contain a list of all of the assignments for this semester and the grading scale. So you can see the grading scale here. This is a universally adopted grading scale that the college has. But for this course, there's 200 points possible, and students can clearly see what the point breakdown is for assignments. So all of this information will be available to students the first day of class, and the professor on the first day will go over this and to explain in more detail, and students can ask questions. So it's very important that students look at their syllabus regularly between classes. Another difference between high school and college is the amount of studying required. So for some students in high school, they could get a lot of their work done during the school day. They could maybe study for exams just the night prior to the exam. In college, the expectation is that you will put in 2 to 3 hours outside of class for every 1 hour that you are in class. So you will be in class about 16 hours per week, but then you need to be spending 8 to 10 hours um, outside of each class each week. So 30 hours, about 30 hours studying. So when you were in high school, you spent about 35 hours a week at the high school. At North Central, you will only be in class about 15 hours a week, but you need to find that other 20 to 30 hours to put into studying, depending on the rigor of your course load. So in high school, the teacher would assign reading and go over it and teach all parts of the reading the next day. In college, students are expected to review their class notes on their own. Sometimes readings will be assigned, but not covered in class, but students are still responsible for that information. So it's important that students use their time between classes very intentionally, and it's important that students do the assigned reading and come to class prepared if they have any questions. And I put a big star next to this part that it's very important that students know they need to, in order to be a successful college student, they need to put in 2 to 3 hours outside of class for every 1 hour in class. This slide shows a typical first semester class schedule for a first year student. So most first year students will take 4 classes. And so if you first look at this schedule, initially you might think, well, that's not very much time. I'm going to have so much free time. And it's true that you're going to have a lot more freedom in how you spend your time when you're not in class. But if we look at that rule of thumb in terms of the amount of studying that should be done for each one of these courses, and we plug in that study time on this slide, you can see that there's less free time than it appears to be. So there's class time, and then there's the study time to be a successful college student, which is everybody's goal. So we need to come up with a plan of when's the best time to fit in that study and to make sure we allow for that. And then if we further think about how we're going to spend our time, and we want to make sure that our students have some time to eat and exercise and sleep, you can see that that also then reduces the amount of true free time that students have available. So when we think about this, many times students or families will ask how many hours a week is ideal if a student needs to be working. And my recommendation would be 15 hours on average per week for a part-time job and no more than 20 hours. I know some students for financial reasons need to do more than that, but with the priority being a successful college student, ideally no more than 15 to 20 hours a week so that there's enough time available to study. And there's a lot of things going on campus besides academics that are also beneficial to your students that you'll be hearing about. So I'd like to spend this time on this presentation showing how if you only look at the class schedule, it appears that the student has a lot of free time and there's really not as much free time as you would think. Another difference between high school and college is managing priorities. So generally in high school, families and teachers help provide support and guidance and structure in managing responsibilities and setting priorities. So if a family might say it's time to turn off the Netflix, or don't you have some homework for tomorrow? And those reminders are not going to be coming as frequently now that students are in college. So students are responsible for setting their own priorities. And one of the things that we do in Cardinal First at the beginning of the year is talk to students about identifying what their time robbers are, we call them, things that take more time in their day than they expect them to. And we have everybody, all humans have time robbers. So we talk about those and we talk about how to manage those. So many of the common time robbers for our first year students are social media, Netflix, napping, socializing, just a variety of things. So we help them identify what those are and come up with a plan for how they're going to control those so that they have the time set aside to be a successful college student. So now a word about facing the hurdles. So all of us know that um, there's challenges in life and there's challenges in being a college student, and it's important for people to be prepared and to know that's part of the experience and to know how to seek the assistance that's available to clear the hurdles. So one of the most important takeaways from this webinar is that successful students seek help. So I'm going to say that again. Successful students seek help. Sometimes students feel that it's a sign of a struggling student to seek help. And I want to reassure you that as successful students seek help and access resources on our campus. So we know that students who seek help and access the resources will be more successful academically, and they will also build relationships with people on campus that will help them get connected to other opportunities. North Central College has so many resources available at no additional cost to students, and we want to make sure that the students get connected to these resources and are aware of them. So we have resources available for academic success, from tutoring, small group tutoring, individual tutoring. We have a math resource center that's open every day that students can go in to get help with their math homework. We have a writing center for any written assignments, and you can go to the writing center at any point in the writing process. If you're trying to think of a topic all the way to just like some final tweaks to your paper. We have a speaking center when students have presentations they have to give in class, and accessing these resources will improve your academic success. We've already talked about how faculty have office hours. Students who utilize faculty office hours are more academically successful because they get a little bit more um, advice and guidance on how to be successful in that class. And the first gen faculty and staff on our campus are all available and want to be resources and mentors for our first gen students. There's a list on the college's website I'll show you in a little bit of all of the first gen faculty and staff on our campus. We also have resources related to finances. So the financial aid office is located on the 3rd floor of Old Main. There's another webinar you can watch about that, but they always have, you can always walk into the financial aid office with a question. We have a Center for Financial Literacy the director is Dr. Ryan Decker, who is a first gen economics professor at North Central, and we do some collaborative work with him. And then um, I would also encourage your student to consider looking for a job on campus in the fall. And you can find available jobs. They're not posted yet, but eventually they will be posted on the college's website under Work Here. So that's another way to help with your finances while you're at North Central. We also have resources to help the students get connected socially. So it's a brand new community, and any of the family members, adults on the call, know what it's like when you start to join a new community, when you start a new job or you move to a new community. It takes some time, and we have resources available because we want to help you feel a part of the community, become a part of the community. So if you're going to be living in the residence halls, you will have an RA who will help you with this process. And if you're going to commute, there are commuter assistants who plan events and serve as mentors for our students who commute. You'll also be meeting the orientation leaders. We have first year mentors that will be in your CARD 100 class. And for our transfer students, we have engaged learning facilitators who are peer leaders and peer mentors in your CARD 200 class. Within the Cardinal First program, we have Cardinal First ambassadors who are student leaders and mentors. The sole reason we have all these leaders on campus is to help our new students get welcomed into our community. We also have resources, important resources for health and well-being. The Dyson Wellness Center, which is located in the stadium, has appointments available for counseling, for medical. Those are all included with the cost of tuition. And we have recreational sports, so intramurals, fitness courses, the fitness center, yoga. Always the #1 priority for all students is health and well-being. Now, if you are wondering where can you find these resources at North Central, and when you have some free time, you can check out on the college's website. There's a drop-down menu of resources in the top right corner Families and students are encouraged to check out these resources that are available for students. You can do that this summer, or you can do it as the school year gets started. If the students are struggling, not sure who to ask, have a concern, you can always say, why don't you go to the Office of First Gen Programs and ask who can help you with that. So the First Gen team does not have the answer to every question, but we know the people on campus that would have the answer or would be able to help with the question or the issue or the concern. So please, and students and families, please encourage your students to ask with any concern or issue that you have so that we can get you connected to help you be successful. The one resource that I definitely want to encourage you to become a part of is the Cardinal First program. So this is the college's award-winning program for our first generation college students. The picture here is from First Gen Celebration Week last November on campus. For our new students, we have Cardinal First Fridays, and for our new transfer students, we have Cardinal First Transition. So Cardinal First Fridays for our first year students is a series of interactive 1-hour workshops. They're offered at 4 consecutive times on these designated Fridays so that students can find a time that works with their schedule. And there are student leaders and mentors with this program who are first gen sophomores, juniors, and seniors who also participated in Cardinal First Fridays. For our new transfer students, we have Cardinal First Transition, and that is a series of 4 interactive 1-hour workshops on select Tuesdays during your first 2 months at North Central. And the student leaders in that program are first gen juniors and seniors who also transferred to North Central. Excuse me. At Cardinal First Fridays and at Cardinal First Transition, you will meet a first gen faculty member at each workshop. So it's a great way for you to fast track developing relationships with some of the faculty members on campus. And they are very excited to meet the students and to share a little bit of their first gen story and wisdom at those events. This is a list of some of the topics that we cover in Cardinal First workshops. Excuse me. Again, the student leaders in the program are called Cardinal First Ambassadors. They're all first gen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors. They serve as leaders and mentors. So within the program, you'll have 1 or 2 leaders assigned to you, and they will mentor you, but you'll get a list of all of these ambassadors and their contact information, what their major is, their hometown, what they're involved in on campus, and they all are available to serve as mentors for you with any questions that you might have. For our sophomores in the program, we have Cardinal First Sophomore Suppers once a month. For juniors, we have a program called Cardinal First Penultimate. And for our seniors, we have Cardinal First Home Stretch. And so a series of workshops just to design to help you make the most of each year while you're on campus. And again, to connect you to a community of peers and first gen faculty and staff. The culminating event for Cardinal First is the graduation recognition and pinning ceremony. It takes place on the morning of graduation, and each first gen graduate selects a faculty or staff member who's been an important part of their North Central College experience, and the faculty or staff member presents them with a pin. Families are invited. It was postponed this year due to COVID-19, but generally we have about 500 people in attendance at this event. For students who participate in Cardinal First, there is a $1,000 renewable scholarship awarded after 1 year of participation in the program. So any first gen student who meets the participation requirements during 2020-21 will earn a $1,000 renewable Cardinal First scholarship for the following year, and it's renewable during the rest of your time at North Central. The participation requirements have flexibility built into them. So for example, for Cardinal First Fridays, there's 12 workshops throughout the year, and we ask that you attend 9 of the 12. So we will go over the scholarship requirements again, but again, that scholarship is awarded after 1 year of participation in the program. So The scholarship is an incentive to get students to participate in the program, and it's certainly a benefit of the program as well. We don't feel that that's the true value of the program, but if that's what gets students interested, that's totally fine with us. So other program benefits are a connection to all the first gen faculty and staff on campus. A meal is served at all of our workshops. You always get breakfast or lunch. You get connected to first gen sophomores, juniors, and seniors who are a year or 2 or 3 ahead of you on the journey at North Central College. So it builds your network immediately with the upper class students. And then there's each workshop, about half of the 1 hour is spent on content to help you be more successful during your time at North Central. And one of the biggest benefits is the community. So you get connected to the other 40% of students at North Central who are first gen. In terms of what we know about students who participate in Cardinal First and how they do, of the students who participate in Cardinal First Fridays over the past 4 years, 92% of them are back for their sophomore year and on their way successfully earning their college degree. That number is higher than the percent of first gen students who do not participate in it. So we know that students who participate in Cardinal First Fridays are more likely to be back for their second year, which means they're more likely to earn their college degree. And 80% of the students who participate in Cardinal First completed, since we started the program in 2015, completed their degree in 4 years. And the national average nationally of first gen students who start college, only 27% complete their degree in 4 years. But at North Central, among students participating in Cardinal First, it's 80% 4-year graduation rate, and higher for that. We're still calculating that with this year's grads. Sometimes students need an extra semester to finish up. So we want you to become in Cardinal First. The next steps are to complete the application, which is not quite available on the website, but it will be soon. It's a very short application. We take as many students as are interested in the program, but the application will be available on the college's website by June 1st, and we'll also be mailing them to the homes of all the first gen students. First gen students will also be receiving emails from Cardinal First at noctrl.edu. We encourage you to please read those emails. I also encourage you to check out the Cardinal First website on the college's website page. There's several student testimonials, so you can see what they think about the Cardinal First program. There's testimonials from parents of students in the program, and there's the list of all the first gen faculty and staff, as well as a lot of other information. And if you have questions, I am available through the Cardinal First email or any of the other, through the college's website too. You can contact me.